100 so that What's I'll tell you, I really love their. What? You see the second season? They saved the world, but now they're all going to die because the radiation is going to kill them.
But that was a good hook when like the lady came down and saw it.
I hate that lady. The computer.
Yeah, and then they go and they see him and that and she cut it out and commanded.
All right, in March Madness, the NCAA basketball tournament has the form of a single elimination tournament. In this tournament, they start with a certain number of teams. Some of you guys know how many teams there are, and that doesn't matter because we're going to figure it out anyways. Or they're going to tell us. This is called the first round. After the teams play, the losers go home, and the winners continue to play. And that continues on until there's two teams left, and the winner of that game is the champion. The loser is still a loser. Let's see. For example, if there are 16 teams, 6 equals 2 to the power 4, there are 4 rounds. Yeah, whatever. Well, in March Madness, they start with 64 teams. So how many rounds are there? Well, in round 1, I'll make that bigger. In round 1, they start with 64 teams. So for round 2, how many teams would there be? Well, half the teams have to lose, and half the teams have to win. So we would divide that by 2, and we would have then 32 teams. For round 3, again, half of those teams would lose, and half of them would win. So we would divide by 2, and would have 16 teams. Again, on this problem, we're just trying to figure out how many rounds there are. Then for round 4, there would be 8 teams. Round 5, 4. Round 6, 2. And how many teams in round 7? 1. Can you have one team play one team?
No.
No, you cannot. Therefore, how many rounds are there? There are 6 rounds. All right, 6 rounds for 64 teams. How many teams are in the third round? We already figured that out. 16 teams. By the way, this is a word problem, so you will have to label the answers there, okay? How many games total are played? Well, if we look at this, for round 1, there's 64 teams, so two teams per game. That would give us 32 games. The next one would have 16, then 8, 4, 2, and 1 game for the final round. So how many total games are played? We would just add all these together, and this would tell us how many games. And we have 63 games. So this tells us how many, this bottom row here tells us how many games are for each round. And this top row tells us how many teams there are in each round. So in round 1, there's 64 teams playing 32 games.